Eyes on the sky. Some parts of the U.S. may get a rare glimpse of the northern lights as a solar storm fires up the planet's auroras this week. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has forecast that a minor geomagnetic storm will hit Earth from March 14th to 15th. Solar winds from the sun's coronal hole are set to stream out into space and cause a slight disturbance to our planet's geomagnetic field. Charged solar particles interacting with the Earth's atmosphere results in an amplified display of the Aurora Borealis, or northern lights. The storm allows the lights to be visible in lower latitude areas like Michigan and Maine in the northeastern U.S. It's also expected to have a minor impact on power grids and satellite operations. Over the weekend, several news outlets inaccurately warned of a massive solar disturbance that can cause power outages, prompting some to panic. In response, the NOAA Space Prediction Center claims the storm, known as G1, is the lowest severity on a scale of 5 and shouldn't be cause for concern. That's not something you see every day.
It was a 1 in 80,000 chance and this kid made it. While childbirth in itself is miraculous and unforgettable, one little baby decided to make its grand entrance into the world even more memorable. In a rare moment, an infant was delivered last Saturday in Sao Paulo, Brazil, while still fully in its amniotic sac. Usually, the mother's water breaks early on, or is punctured during a C-section. That was the case for this little one's twin who was delivered normally just seconds before. In the video, the baby can be seen moving in its sac, the blue umbilical cord draped over its neck. The sac is set on a hospital table and surrounded by doctors and nurses who are no doubt amazed by this once-in-a-lifetime sight.
3 moons for the price of 1. If lunar cosmic events are on your bucket list, listen up. NASA says Earth is in for a lunar trifecta of a super blue blood moon on January 31st, 2018. Lunar orbit of Earth follows a 29-day cycle. The blue moon, like the one on January 31st, occurs when there are 2 full moons in a calendar month. The moon will also be closer to the Earth during this time, meaning that it will be brighter than normal. This is called a supermoon. When the moon passes through the Earth's shadow during the January 31st lunar eclipse, it will appear red. This is also known as a blood moon. Much of South America, Africa, and West Europe will not be able to see the cosmic event, while most of Asia, Australasia, and the northwestern America will. The rest of the world may be able to see it partially, depending on their location. According to Time, the last total lunar eclipse to coincide with a blue moon was in 1982.
Mercury about to make a rare appearance across the sun's face. Our solar system's smallest planet will be visible on Monday as it passes between Earth and the Sun, a rare spectacle that only occurs a few times a century. While the Earth takes 365 days to orbit the Sun, Mercury only takes 88 days to make the journey. Skywatchers worldwide will be able to witness part of this voyage on Monday. Mercury passes between Earth and the Sun 3 times a year, about every 4 months. However, Mercury's tilted orbit prevents us normally seeing this journey. As Mercury's orbit is inclined 7 degrees to the plane of Earth's orbit, it's rare for the 3 bodies to line up so that Mercury is in our direct line of sight to the Sun. In fact, this only occurs 13 to 14 times a century. The next time we'll be able to view Mercury's transit will be in 2019 and 2032. Mercury, which is about 3 times smaller than Earth, will be just 1 of 158th the width of the Sun's disk. So its movement across the Sun is only visible with high-powered lenses. Mercury will take about 7.5 hours to move across the Sun, beginning from 7:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until around 2:42 p.m. An interesting phenomenon that can be observed is the black drop effect, which occurs when Mercury's edge forms a teardrop shape as it touches the Sun's edge. Mercury's flit across the Sun will be visible through much of Western Europe, Northwestern Africa, and the Americas, while other areas of the world may see part of the transit. Albino orangutan rescued from captivity. An incredibly rare female albino orangutan has been freed by conservationists after she was captured by villagers in Indonesia and held for 2 days. The 5-year-old orangutan was found and imprisoned in a cage on April 27th in a remote district of central Kalimantan, the island also known as Borneo. After receiving a tip-off, workers from the Borneo Orangutan Survival Foundation arrived to find the young orangutan weak, dehydrated, and infected with worms. That dried blood on her nose? Foundation workers say it appears she was injured as she fought back during her capture. Albinos of any species are rare, and as orangutans are endangered, finding a white-haired, blue-eyed orangutan is a rare moment indeed. Luckily for this young female, her future looks bright. She's being nursed back to health at the Foundation's Rehabilitation Center, along with some 500 other orangutans. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, around 100,000 orangutans are thought to still live in Kalimantan's forests, which span areas in Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia. But that already low number is declining. Between 1950 and 2010, the Kalimantan orangutan population shrank by 60%. And due to continuing deforestation to make way for palm oil and rubber plantations, that number is forecast to fall a further 22% between 2010 and 2025. As if their situation wasn't troubling enough, the orangutan, a docile and majestic creature, is also killed by locals who regard them as pests.